Hi people, it's me, Anja. My pronouns are she and her, and welcome back to my channel for a new video. And welcome back to part 3 of my favorite middle grade books with transgender main characters. This video, if you didn't know, was inspired by the recent news that Disney decided to axe their trans storyline from their upcoming series, Win or Lose, because I think that representation for transgender children is so incredibly important and should be kept part of the story canonically. And I know they said that something about these conversations should be kept in private households or something like that. I don't know what the fuck their weird excuse was, but I think that representation in TV, in media, in books is so incredibly important, and I think that transgender children should be given the tools and the language to understand their identity so much. I think that that's so important, especially if they come from transphobic households, and also for cisgender children as well. I think that they should have the opportunity to learn about the gender spectrum, learn about queer identities, and that's why I think that representation for the queer community as well as for their straight counterparts is so incredibly important, because I think it's so important to learn about different perspectives, new ideas, and everything. So that is why I try my very best to be an ally to the queer community at all times, and that is why representation is so incredibly important to me as a marginalized person myself. I'm not trying to compare my identity to anybody else necessarily, but just as a parallel, you know what I mean? I don't know if any of that made any sense, but basically I hope that my channel in general serves as a safe space for the queer community, for the transgender community, for any marginalized identity everywhere. So anyway, without any further ado, I digress. I hope this video helps diversify your bookshelf. So with that said, the first book on this list is called Jamie. This story is a middle-aged contemporary following a young non-binary main character who is given a choice when they go up to middle school to choose between a boys' school or a girls' school, but they don't want to make a decision because they're not a boy or a girl, so what do they choose instead? You know what I mean? This book is set in the UK, by the way, if that wasn't made clear, since I understand public schools in the United States are not segregated by sex and are mixed in middle school as well as in elementary school and high school. I was homeschooled. But anyway, this book was so good. It was so awesome, and it was so well done. The characters are so well developed and so distinct. The plot is so engaging and so intriguing. I love the friendships so much. This book is absolutely so amazing, and it's so well done. I think that it's really, really cool and really, really important, since I know there are so many young, non-binary people out there who can probably relate to what Jamie is going through at this point in their life, you know what I mean? Or did once relate at that age, if that makes any sense, older readers as well. But anyway, overall, this book was so good. I think this author is so unbelievably talented. I had really high expectations prior to reading this book because I had previously written their fantasy series, which also has great queer representation too. But this book was so good, and it definitely lived up to those expectations. So anyway, overall, this book is absolutely so excellent, and it's so brilliant, and it's so important. So anyway, with that said, I would definitely highly, highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Just Shy of Ordinary. This story is a middle-aged contemporary following a young, non-binary main character who's attending public school for the first time, and basically, their first day does not go quite the way that they expect. I really, really enjoy this book so much, because the idea that your day or the rest of your life is not going to go quite the way that you really wanted to is something that I can resonate with very much. Even though I'm no longer in the 7th grade or the 9th grade or whatever, as an adult, I hate surprises still. You know what I mean? But anyway, I'll talk about that more in my 2024 reading wrap-up, which I keep teasing, but I'm kind of not super looking forward to filming it. But I don't know, I have mixed feelings about filming it. We'll talk about that later. I digress. This book was so good. It was one of my most anticipated 2024 new releases, which was so exciting that I am talking about it now, also at the end of the year, full circle. And it was so good. Again, I really trusted this author's reputation, and I'm so glad that I did, because the writing is so good. The characters are so well developed and so distinct. The queer representation is spot on, so excellent, so brilliant. The characters feel like real people, like real young people. This book is so good. I love the friendships, I love the representation, I love it all. So anyway, with that said, I would definitely highly, highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Splinter and Ash. This story is a middle-grade fantasy following two main characters who are both outsiders to society, since one is non-binary and the other one is disabled, as they both go on a quest to save their kingdom. This book was absolutely so excellent, and it's so well done. As I've said before, since I made a video about it, this book was one of my favorite middle-grade books that I read in 2024 because it was so good and so awesome. I love stories in general that center on characters who feel like outsiders to society, because that's how I feel sometimes, especially as a disabled woman of color. This book is so good. I just really resonated with both of the characters so much. Like, as characters, as people, I understood their emotions and their motivations and their actions so well, because they're both such well-written characters. Like, I love their friendship so much. The world building is excellent, and it's so magical, and it's so well done. I think this book's the first of a trilogy, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm so excited to see what will happen next. The queer representation was awesome. The disability representation was awesome. This book is so fantastic, and it's so good, and it deserves so much more hype. So anyway, with that said, I would definitely highly, highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Lunar Boy. I've talked about this book about 1,000,000 times this year because it's a middle-grade urban fantasy graphic novel that follows a young transgender main character from the moon who finds home in the most unlikely of places on Earth. This story is absolutely so fantastic, and it's so good. First of all, the illustrations are so vivid and so pretty and so well done. Like, the art is incredible. Second of all, the story itself is so pretty and so beautiful. The characters are so well developed and so distinct. The queer representation is awesome. The romance is so cute and so well done. I loved the friendships. I love the found family. I love the message about finding home and finding your family and finding and adapting to new normals, if that makes any sense. This book was so good, and like I said, I know I've talked about it about 1,000,000 times on this channel this year, but that's because I truly love this book so much. I think it's so important and so wholesome and so happy, and it's so well done. So anyway, with that said, I would definitely highly, highly recommend it. The last book on this list, and certainly not the least, is called Upstaged. This story is a middle-grade contemporary graphic novel following a young, non-binary main character who's determined to have their last summer at theater camp be the best one yet. This story is absolutely so fantastic, and it's so good. First of all, the characters are so well developed and so distinct. The friendships are so wholesome and so adorable. The romance is so cute. The queer representation is spot on and excellent. This book is absolutely so fantastic, and I really, really enjoyed it so much. I also really enjoyed the theater settings as well as the camp settings. I've mentioned this before that I love theater books just because I enjoy theater as an art form so much. I rewatch Hamilton every year, not just because I enjoy the soundtrack, although I really, really love it so much, and the second half of the musical definitely has better songs. But overall, I just love Hamilton because I love the casting, the acting, the dancing, the choreography, the cinematography, the soundtrack, the costumes. Everything about it is so excellent. Although I will say, definitely, Lin-Manuel Miranda is the worst singer in the cast, and literally everybody else is so much better than he is. But anyway, I digress. This book is so good. Also, I recently loved Wicked. But anyway, this book is so good, and I really, really enjoyed it so much. The illustrations, the story, everything about it was so excellent and so fantastic. So anyway, with that said, I would definitely highly, highly recommend it. So, in conclusion, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, and I know I sound like a broken record at this point, so maybe this time my outro will be quicker than my intro. But anyway, I think that transgender stories deserve to exist, because transgender people deserve to exist, and they deserve the right to be recognized, and they deserve the right to feel seen and heard and valued just as much as anybody else. With that said, I'm an ally and I stand with the transgender community. So with that said, I hope that this video helped diversify your bookshelf. I think that transgender children deserve a future, a happy, healthy, not bleak, transphobic future. You know what I mean? Transgender representation is so incredibly important, like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, for the transgender community as well as to their cisgender counterparts. So anyway, with that said, I hope this video helped diversify your bookshelf, like I said 3 times already. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below the diamond emoji if you made it all the way to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you're new. And I'll see you in my next video. I'll see you next video. Bye!